Nothing like a rattler on a nice hot day. Hello, welcome to the Turret of Pleasure, here in the Enchanted Kingdom of Hermione, and I am your host and the Lord Chamberlain of the Enchanted Kingdom, Zip Gun. And today we're just sitting here watching the sun move around to the west a bit. And today, on I Am That Sucker, I'm going to talk about another box set. There's lots of box sets I got. And, there's a story behind many of them. This one has a great story. Back in 1994, which is an awfully long time ago now that I think of it, I had a band in my studio by the name of Loose. And we worked assiduously on this CD, Low Down Rattles of Rhythm. And Loose were a trio, guitar, bass, acoustic bass, and drums. Mr. Mark Atkinson, who's now very well known in this area of the world as a sort of a Django Reinhardt influenced guitarist. And the bass player Scott, bass player. What's Scott's last name? I've forgotten his last name. What the heck? Senility, folks. Losing my mind. Scott White. Yes, sorry. Almost said Scott Young. Very, very excellent, funky double bassist. Played electric bass. I don't think he had one. I think he borrowed mine on this. And he ended up working with the Cirque du Soleil for a long time, so we know he's good. And Wildman McCrae on drums. These guys were really good. Really nice guys. Great people to hang out with. And we had some good times making this record. This was one of the few times I got to make a record kind of the way I wanted to. We had some time. And we ended up with what I thought was a great record. They were a really funky, kind of jazzy jam band. But these guys can really play. And we did a sort of a test with one song. I think they did 3 takes. Each take was quite different. Each take was just insane. They were really good. Anyway, where this leads to, other than the fact that we made a wonderful record that nobody remembers anymore, was we got talking music. And, of course, these guys were all into music and jazz. And Mark and I got talking about Rahssan Roland Kirk. And I remember Roland Kirk from the 60s and 70s. Kind of a Atlantic Records soul/jazz artist. Interesting. Played 3 saxes at once. Played a conch shell. He was without sight, and he would play a conch shell and circular breathe. All kinds of cool shit. And Mark told me a great story about him and his girlfriend staying at home, and they were listening to this Roland Kirk record. He couldn't remember the name of it, but it was this Latin record. And his girlfriend was doing this sort of Egyptian style dance, and he was doing this kind of funny dance with her. And if I remember the story correctly, I don't even remember the story. I think their landlord walked in on them, and it was a very strange, embarrassing scene in this Roland Kirk record playing in the background. And I was so taken by the image of this great story he told that I started thinking, Roland Kirk, I didn't know he had a Latin record. And I didn't know, I thought I'd like to hear this record. And as it turned out, none of these records, because it was in his Mercury years, none of them were in print. But at my local A&B Sound, there was a very exotic, very expensive box set. Rahssan, his Mercury years. Now, I didn't know a lot about this stuff, and I think I paid a lot, like $130 for this. 10 compact discs. It wasn't cheap. This was back in 1994, when you could expect to pay $20 per CD for a box set. So this would have been a $200 box set. I think I got it less than that. But I was making money, and I had a yen to maybe educate myself on some Roland Kirk, because I knew a bit about him. I didn't know much. And so I couldn't resist, because I'm not, I am that sucker. I bought the damn thing, And there, of course, deep inside the bowels of it, not very well thing is Slightly Latin, which was the record that Mark described, which turned out to be everything he said it was and then some. And then there's essentially, now this is every note he ever played for Mercury, or pretty damn near anyways. I know Domino. There's extra tracks, there's extra takes. They're one after the other, so it's a bit of a headache to listen to sequentially. If you don't want to hear 3 copies of Japan in a row, you might need to program it. Having said that, it is typically Japanese in its obsession for detail, and there's a whole lot of really good music on this. Now, I think I looked it up. It's this, you can buy it for $150. It's about the same price as when I bought it. And this has just everything, all kinds of little nooks and crannies of Roland Kirk that you never knew. If you are familiar with Roland Kirk's Atlantic stuff, which is mostly really great, and probably where you should start, I'm thinking. However, having said that, this is great. There's really no bad music on this. In fact, I will digress briefly way over here and say, if you can find it, this was available, cheap, domestic, blah, blah, blah. Rip, Rig, and Panic. And coupled with it is Now Please Don't You Cry, Beautiful Edith, which is the only record he made for Verve, I think in 1967. And this has Alfie on it, so be warned, it's a little bit smooth. Rip, Rig, and Panic is not smooth. It's very crazy and avant-garde, and there's lots of whistles and stuff. But this was cheap. You could find this all over the place for like $8. And this is a great place to start if you're going to start with Roland Kirk. However, if that is not good enough and you need everything, this is where you go. This didn't stay in print a long time, and a few of these got re-released. Like Domino. Now let me see here. Domino came out, and Domino, when they re-released it, because you know how they love to do this in the world of records. Let's just see. 25. Oh, now I've done and put it away. I can never get it back again. So this says, I don't know what time it was. 3 takes, it says. Do we get that? Where are we here? Domino. So this would be where. I'm just going to check this. I should have checked this before I made this video, but you know me. I never do that. I do these kind of on impulse, to be quite honest. E.D. Domino, when the sun comes out. So the Domino is a very good one. If you can find this for cheap, you should probably buy it too. But it looks like this. Oh, there's breakdown take. Okay, so there's stuff here. This has all the complete takes, I'm pretty sure. Domino, this is for the unbelievable cork sniffers who just got to hear every utterance of the great man. Nice to have. You can do weird things with it in the studio. That's what I do with it. Breakdown take. There's like 2 or 3 breakdown takes. So, and this came out. This was $15 or something. But there you have it. Anyway, yeah. So I am that sucker. I bought it. I'm glad I have it. I'm going to play it probably today. And, yeah. There's one more box set to be described. I can't say much more about it other than old mastering, large jewel boxes. Takes up, it's like a brick in your CD library. But it's 1990, I think it is. So, you know, old school. Probably not fantastic remastering, but probably good enough. Most jazz I find fine. I don't care about remastering. Nice remastering is great. If I find an old Blue Note that's not been remastered on CD for $1, it's usually fine. So I don't worry about stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to go dig out some more stuff. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button, and we'll see what other kind of crazy stuff I can dig out of the corners here. Take care.